If you're thinking about starting an LLC in Arkansas, there's something you really need to understand before you hit that file button. Yes, Arkansas is cheap to start. It's just $50 to form your LLC online. But every single year after that, you're paying a $150 flat franchise tax to the state, no matter what. Even if your business makes $0, even if you barely use the company. And honestly, a lot of founders don't think about that part until the deadline sneaks up on them. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start an LLC in Arkansas in 2026, how it works behind the scenes, what it really costs long term, and whether Arkansas is actually the right state for you. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Bobby Casey, founder of Business Anywhere. I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs, U.S. founders, digital nomads, expats, and non-U.S. residents form LLCs remotely without flying anywhere or wrestling with confusing state websites. So yeah, I've seen the smooth setups and I've seen the avoidable mistakes. All right, so before we even get into the paperwork, let's quickly talk about what an LLC actually is. An LLC, limited liability company, separates you from your business. That separation is the whole point. If your business runs into debt or gets sued, your personal assets are generally protected. And from a tax standpoint, it's flexible. By default, a single-member LLC is taxed like a sole proprietorship. A multi-member LLC is taxed like a partnership. And later, if it makes sense, you can elect S-Corp taxation, so you get protection without heavy corporate complexity. Now, why would someone choose Arkansas? Well, the obvious reason is the low startup cost. Filing your certificate of organization online with the Arkansas Secretary of State costs just $50. That's lower than most states. But here's where you need to think long-term. Arkansas requires every LLC to pay a $150 annual franchise tax. It's a flat fee. It doesn't matter if you made a profit or not. You owe it every year to stay in good standing. So when you're comparing states, don't just look at what it costs to start. Look at what it costs to maintain. All right, let's talk about how you actually form it. First, you'll want to choose your LLC name. It needs to be distinguishable from other businesses registered in Arkansas, and it must include LLC or limited liability company at the end. So it can't just be Ozark Ventures. It has to be Ozark Ventures LLC. Before you get attached to a name, search the Arkansas Business Entity Database to make sure it's available. If you're not quite ready to file but want to lock it in, Arkansas allows you to reserve the name for 120 days for a small fee. Moving on, let's talk about your registered agent. Every Arkansas LLC needs one, and they must have a physical street address in Arkansas, no P.O. boxes. This is the person or company that receives legal documents and official state notices on your behalf. Now, technically, if you live in Arkansas, you can be your own registered agent, but your address becomes public record, and you need to be available during business hours. That's why many founders use a professional service. It keeps your information private and makes sure nothing important gets missed. Once that's handled, you're ready to file your certificate of organization. This is the document that officially creates your LLC. You'll submit it to the Arkansas Secretary of State, usually online for faster processing, and the filing fee is $50. You'll provide your business name, principal office address, registered agent information, and whether the company is member managed or manager managed. After approval, your LLC is officially active. Now, even though Arkansas doesn't require it by law, let's talk about something you really shouldn't skip: your operating agreement. This document outlines ownership percentages, how profits are distributed, how decisions are made, and what happens if someone leaves the business. Even if you're a single-member LLC, having one strengthens your liability protection and shows banks that your business is legitimate and structured. Next up, you'll want to get your EIN, your employer identification number, from the IRS. It's free, and it acts like a social security number for your business. You'll need it to open a U.S. business bank account, hire employees, and file federal taxes. If you're a U.S. resident with an SSN, you can apply online and get it quickly. If you're outside the U.S., process takes a little longer, but it's still completely doable. Now let's circle back to compliance, because this is where people run into trouble. Every year, your Arkansas LLC must file a franchise tax report and pay the $150 flat franchise tax. It's due by May 1st. Miss that deadline, and you risk penalties or even having your LLC revoked. So mark it down. Or better yet, use a service that keeps track of it for you. Depending on what your business does, you may also need additional licenses or tax registrations. Arkansas doesn't require a general statewide business license for every LLC, but certain industries absolutely require permits. And if you're selling physical goods, you'll likely need to register for sales tax with the state. Finally, once everything is approved and you've got your EIN, open a separate business bank account. This part is critical. If you mix personal and business funds, you could lose your liability protection. Banks will usually ask for your certificate of organization, EIN confirmation, operating agreement, and valid ID. And if you're operating remotely, you'll need a legitimate U.S. business address. So just to recap quickly, you choose a unique name, appoint a registered agent in Arkansas, file your certificate of organization, and pay the $50 fee. Create your operating agreement, get your EIN, register for any required taxes, and every year, file your franchise tax report and pay the $150 flat tax by May 1st. That's the full roadmap. Now, you can absolutely do this yourself. Arkansas keeps it fairly straightforward. But if you'd rather skip the paperwork and compliance tracking, we can help. At Business Anywhere, we'll form your Arkansas LLC for free. You just pay the $50 state fee, and we include your first year of registered agent service at no extra cost. We'll also help with your EIN and send compliance reminders so that the franchise tax deadline doesn't catch you off guard. If that sounds easier, check the link below. And let me know, are you choosing Arkansas because you live there, or are you comparing it with states like Texas, Wyoming, or Florida? Drop a comment and tell me what you're building. I'll see you in the next one.